Hello and welcome to the United Stand. It is Sunday Night Live, or if you're not watching it on Sunday, it's clearly not, but loads to get through. Some controversial topics, some not so controversial, but I want to talk about Manchester United in the top four, whether that's unrealistic or realistic. I want to talk about Mkhitaryan. I want to talk about Phil Jones. I want to talk about Wayne Rooney. And I will be talking about these comments from Mourinho, basically dedicating today's win to Fellaini. Controversial, I think. It's divided opinion, as many things do. I've got a different slant on it. And I personally think that Mourinho is wrong. But we'll come on to that a little bit later in the show. Let's get your live comments on. Fantastic win today. I really do think it is. I wouldn't, football's very, very funny, isn't it? You have a perfect day like today. I would have thought Liverpool would beat West Ham at home. They don't. We're happy about that because we hate Liverpool and they are bottlers. I said Spurs would bottle this. I've said it for the last 3 or 4 days and people have said, oh, you're speaking too soon, you're speaking too soon. I knew Spurs would bottle it because they always bottle it when they come up north. It's like Arsenal. And Harry Kane, I'm so glad about that one because I got so much stick 2 days ago. And I said, Harry Kane's got no pace, no flair, no creativity. If he doesn't get any chances, he won't do anything. And Jones and Rojo, both very, very good today, kept him very quiet. And they're not even our best centre-backs. He's a big game bottler, apart from against Arsenal. And is that a big game anymore? It's just a derby for them, isn't it? But Manchester United's where it's at. We had to win today. We did win today. It's the catalyst, I believe. Because, you know what? If we go and not beat Palace on Wednesday night, that's ridiculous. They are letting goals in left, right and centre, and we should go and beat them, even though Mkhitaryan looks like he's injured. The update with Mkhitaryan is, it's not anything serious. This is from Mourinho. He does speak some sense. We'll get to that Fellaini bit in a bit. He does speak some sense. Mkhitaryan expected to be back Boxing Day, which is 2 weeks tomorrow. It's like a strained ankle. So we'll miss him for the next 2 games, which is a shame because I think with him, we would win comfortably. Sander Sager's opinions on fans booing Marouane. I will touch on that, but I just want to talk about today a little bit first. Positive. We've got to win the next 2 games, but the reality is we are 6 points off fourth. I'm not even counting Spurs. I'm not counting Spurs. We are 6 points off fourth, and I think we're 8 points off third, which is Liverpool. They're the 2 teams to go for. Now, I look at our next few games, which are West Brom Palace, West Brom away. We should be winning both of those. Then it's Sunderland and Borough between Christmas and New Year. Both at home. So we should be winning those. That's 12 points to go for. Within them same 4 games, City have got to play Liverpool. They both can't win that. So that's an opportunity to make at least 2 more points up on them. City have got Arsenal next Sunday. I don't think they'll win that game if Arsenal turn up. And then the Bottlers of the North. But then again, we'll make some points up on Arsenal. And Liverpool have got Everton a week tomorrow. And again, that's at Everton. So I would expect Everton in a derby to not get turned over at Goodison Park. So again, there are points. I think there's at least 4 we can make on Liverpool before New Year's Eve. And I think there's at least 3 or 4 that we can make up on City before in that time, which should put us well within that time. Somebody just asked about the audio. I hope it's okay. Somebody question marked it. I hope it's working perfectly fine. I haven't seen anybody else on about that. So the result today is good. It's positive. We had to win it. I think there's so much to be taken off winning 1-0. The perfect result because it just shows that we've got that ability to keep a clean sheet and hold a 1-0 win. We were more. I mean, that free kick from Pogba, I don't think it's had the attention it deserved. It was Beckham-esque. It was keeper standing gawping. Like he's having sex for the first time. He's just stunned a rabbit in the headlights. Absolutely amazing. It was a brilliant free kick and he gets a lot of stick. And I thought, today was a bloody hard game. It was a really hard game. But we won it. And that's what counts. You're totally right about the audio. I really apologise for that. Sometimes it just really does just revert to default, and it is bad audio. You're right, James. Hopefully it should be a lot better now, but let me know. Okay, let me know. That should be working absolutely perfectly now. We'll have Ross on in a minute, but what a free kick. It is better. Brilliant. Okay, what a free kick it would have been. And I tell you what I will say about Spurs in total fairness is Dembele is a player I've liked for a long, long time. And their midfield was very, very hard today. I don't think Carrick had his normal commanding performance. Herrera ran his bloody socks off and he was the pick of our three midfielders. And it was a hard, hard game for Pogba. So, yeah, that free kick would have been brilliant. He should have scored in the first 2 minutes. You know, as much as Spurs did well, and I thought Spurs passing and pressing was very, very good, they created nothing. And that's a big, big plus for our midfield and our defence. And we had the better chances, didn't we? And I just think it's such a shame about Mkhitaryan. I don't know what he'll do, but my obvious thing would be to play Mata because I think he's very unlucky not to be playing at the moment anyway. Let's talk Fellaini. He's behind me, as somebody just said. Anyway, let's talk a little bit about Fellaini. About it. Well, in a minute. I just want to talk about as well is when it comes to Manchester United this season. I do think it's really important now that we've parked the Europa League. And it is positive. I'm supping on mulled wine in my United Stand Cup, by the way. It's absolutely lovely. Christmas starts here for me. What am I talking about? Get on with the show, Mark. So anyway, yeah, very, very pleased with United. It's not. I think we need to savour tonight because it's not often we win. I think a lot of us thought it was going to be 1-1. And I'm really, really proud of the team. And on the subject of Phil Jones and Rojo, I've been very, very critical of them. And I thought they were fantastic today, apart from that stupid mistake Rojo made from where Eriksen got the free kick. And I was convinced Eriksen would score. And I think he went the wrong way. But, you know, they didn't score and we kept a clean sheet. And that's fantastic. But again, I think this is another indication of Mourinho and what he's all about. A fantastic, fantastic piece of... he's just so good defensively. I trust him defensively. And even if he goes and gets Fonte, which I don't really want, I would trust him to be right about that. He's such a good manager when it comes to the defensive side of things. But Rooney was interesting. As we feed in, I'm start going to get onto Fellaini in a minute. But Rooney was quite interesting because if you look at his substitutions today, I was told that Mkhitaryan was going to be, not Mkhitaryan, Fellaini was going to be the sub. And... he then changed his mind to Bailly, which is exactly what he should have done last week against Everton, which was another 2 points dropped, which we're not going to dwell on. He should have brought Bailly on. I mean, Bailly's just an absolute monster in the air. And I thought we were very good on crosses today, but I think Bailly just came on and he was superb. Then the second substitution was Fellaini with 30 seconds to go. And even in that 30 seconds, he tried to foul somebody to kill time and he missed that. You know, I don't understand what's going on with Mourinho and Fellaini. But I want to say, Johnny Hennigan says here, fans should have booed Fellaini more when he came on. And Shaka Phillips says, Mark, playing Fellaini is like having Phil Mitchell drunk on a pitch. I'm going to take some of your comments on Fellaini here because by all accounts, he was booed at the game today. And a lot of people have jumped on it and said, oh, it's disgraceful, you shouldn't boo your fans and this, that and the other. Fellaini wears a Manchester United shirt, back him. I mean, my first, I'm going to get into this, but my first observation on that is, wind your neck in, you absolute hypocrites who are now, just because Mourinho has come out and defended him and said that's for him, you're now all going, oh, it's rubbish that Fellaini gets picked like that. You know as well as I do that over 99.9%, so basically 100% of fans have been very critical of Fellaini, especially over the last few weeks and especially after Sunday. Don't want him in the club, want him sold. You know, you can put a tweet out and say, RT, if you want, retweet if you want Fellaini out of our club, and everybody would do it. So I find it hypocritical that suddenly people swing. And it's not just fans, it's so-called bloody big account holders and journalists and everything like that. Just the smugness and hypocritical nature of it really winds me up. Now, I must say, I do not agree with Manchester United fans booing Fellaini. I can't stand him in a Manchester United shirt. I'll be blatantly honest about that. Would I sit at Manchester United and boo him? No. I'd have to sit at Manchester United for a start, for all those people who say you don't go to games. I used to go to Manchester United quite a lot, pre-United stand. And obviously, how can I be in two places at once? Very quickly on that. But I wouldn't sit and boo a player. I've never done it, and I never would do. I don't like it. But I can understand. You know what? I can sort of... Edgar Mark says Fellaini's 30-second cameo was too long. Romario Rodney says Fellaini must leave. He's not United quality, but the boos were embarrassing. And Ryan Singh says Fellaini's a United player. He's part of our team. Any player in the team should be supported. Disagree. I disagree with that. And anybody who is now taking that stance, where have you been for the last few weeks? Because Everybody has been against Fellaini, and now because he's been booed by some fans and Mourinho's dedicated a victory to him, which I find hilarious, people are now saying, oh, we should support Fellaini. Well, you haven't been supporting Fellaini. Now, whether that's right or wrong, you haven't been supporting him for the last few weeks. You've all been there slating him, these fans who are now saying, oh, you've got to back him. You've all slated him. So that's where it goes for me. Irish Red Devil says Fellaini needs to go. Been coming for years with Fellaini, with him getting booed, says Andrew Ellis. Okay, let's touch on this first of all then. The booing, first of all, I don't think it's really Manchester United fans booing Fellaini. I think it's in a personal, we don't like you, Maron. And somebody tweeted me the other day and said, you're such a keyboard warrior, you'd never say it to his face. Well, I wouldn't interview Fellaini for a start. I wouldn't. If I was offered that opportunity, and I never would be, but if I was offered that opportunity, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't be a hypocrite and try and be nice to somebody who I have slated consistently and never will stop for 3 years. I don't respect him as a Manchester United player. He's not a Manchester United player. And actually, I don't think there's many clubs in the Premier League that would take him. Certainly not top 10 clubs. So why are we taking him? So that, you know, I'm not going to be one of the hypocrites who changes my mind and suddenly says, oh yeah, you should respect him and you should support him because he wears a United shirt. Those days are gone. Secondly, I just think the fans are not really booing him as we do dislike you. I think they're booing him as a frustration. They are frustrated that this man is on the bench and he's not even just on the bench. He's constantly being used over other players, and it's baffling. And it's 3 managers, and people are genuinely frustrated by this. So whether you're the press, the media, you think it's wrong to boo, or you back Fellaini, try and see it from the majority side here. That fans are absolutely sick to the back of the teeth of seeing this person in a Manchester United shirt. It's not like we're hard up. It's not like we've got an injury crisis. It's repetitive and it's frustrating. I'm going to get Ross on actually because he's just Skyping me. Hi Ross, can you hear me?
Yes, how you doing, Mark?
I'm very good, thanks. I'll just get you up on the screen and then I'll carry on with what I was saying. Basically, at the moment, we're talking about the Fellaini booing thing. Well, you know what? You probably haven't heard what I've said. What's your reaction to this? And then I'll carry on with what I was saying.
My first reaction was it was a mixed emotions, to be honest, because I'm kind of glad that the Old Trafford faithful are expressing their opinions, and the opinion of the United fan is that we don't want Fellaini coming on after to close games out because he cannot do it. At the same time, there was a little part of me that thought, come on, we don't have to rise to this. We're United fans, and this is not really a good look for us. But then, actually, my thought is, I'm pleased because I'd rather that we expressed our opinion, and we did it with Van Gaal, and we give him an awful lot of time, Van Gaal, 2 years in theory, and I think we've given Fellaini enough time as well. And it's not nice to boo someone, but I think that United fans are not booing Fellaini the player because the player's, he's probably doing his absolute best, but his best isn't good enough. That's not his fault. We're booing the decision to bring Marouane Fellaini on, which is, in my view, not on at all.
I'm glad you said that because that's exactly where I was going with this. I really do not think it is booing the individual. I think it's booing the frustration and repetitive use of somebody who is not United class and never will be United class. And with all due respect to Mourinho, Ross has pointed it out there. Van Gaal was given 18 months by this channel and most fans, and he was wrong. And then we turned on him. Moyes was wrong from day one. I'm not turning on Mourinho, but I found his comments today that this win is dedicated to Marouane Fellaini, and in August I'm going to make you love Fellaini. As much as he says the fans, I love the fans, they're brilliant, and I'm sure he means it, I find that comment arrogant and wrong and stubborn because he's been here 3 months. We've had, like Ross says, we've had 3 years of this player. He's been given lots of chances. I mean, way more than I've given him. A lot of you have slagged me off slated me, on the show. You've said you're horrible about Fellaini, this, that and the other. I've been consistent. He's not good enough. But I think we're all on the same page now. And it is pure frustration at seeing that person warming up with 30 seconds to go. And how he's managed that and how he gets a win dedicated to him when he lost us 2 points last week is baffling. And I've heard enough people say this, and I really do believe, Ross, that if he persists with Fellaini, and a lot of people are suspecting a new contract, and I think he'll get one as well. If he goes down this route, it will destroy everything he's trying to build at Manchester United, because that man, whether you like him or not, he's just not good enough. And what I want to say as well is, he obviously does. I'll be fair. He obviously does do something in training, because 3 managers have backed him, and he obviously does it in training. But that is a dead argument to say we don't see what the manager sees. We see every bloody minute of it in a United shirt, and it's never been good. And that's what matters. I don't care if he's scoring hat-tricks like Messi in training. He never does it in the pitch. And that's surely what it's all about.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think that's a good point. And the point that United fans want to make is, even if Fellaini has a good game, which he has had good games in United shirt, don't get me wrong. But even if he has a good game, it's not what the football that United fans want to see. So even if Fellaini does come on and play really well, do we really want to see him winning headers with long balls? No, we don't. We don't want that football at Old Trafford, or to be associated with any kind of football to that degree, which makes it a lose-lose for Fellaini himself, because even if he does have a good game, we're still not going to be that overly fussed about it, to be honest. And he's already shown that he's not good with the ball at his feet. He's never going to be. He never has been, which makes me think, you know what, it's not the player's fault, but there's not really a lot that he can do, and it's Mourinho, and these comments from Mourinho are completely bizarre. They come out of nowhere for me. I thought we did so well to close out that game, and for him to come out and it almost put a negative on such a positive for Manchester United.
I agree. It's not, I've never disliked Fellaini as a person. I certainly wouldn't be going for a drink with him because, well, he's a Muslim for a start, but you might have a glass of water. But I've got nothing against him personally. It's never been about that. For me, it starts and ends with who wears a Manchester United shirt and what they do on a pitch. I never wanted to sign him. He's just not good enough. But I'm glad it's sort of come up in a way, because it did need to be discussed about. And I don't know whether you heard me, Ross. I was talking about the total hypocrisy of everybody on Twitter, who just because the manager has come out and said that wins for Fellaini, and there's been a bit of booing, it's like suddenly everybody's like, oh no, give him a chance, give him a chance. And I just find it so, I'm sort of feel like defending the people who booed, because it's I wouldn't do it, but this has been built up over a long time, and also, I suppose what I'm really getting at is that this is, back your opinion. Don't be so shallow. Back your opinion. If you don't like Fellaini as a footballer at Manchester United, back your opinion. I mean, that's what I'm doing. That's what most people will do. I'm not going to be hypocritical and say I've got anything against people who are expressing that opinion. It's been going on for 3 years. He's not what people want to see in a Manchester United shirt, and I really do think the manager should listen to the fans on this, because you're not going to convert me, and you're not going to convert anybody else really, because it's not even a Phil Jones scenario where he's been injured a lot, but you can see he has got some sort of ability. Fellaini can't pass. He's got no flair. He's slow. He's immobile, which is slow as well, in a more clever word. But he's just got nothing to his game. He's not suddenly going to turn into Ander Herrera or a Schweinsteiger. And again, that's another thing. You see him on the bench. He's out the way to a certain extent because he's not in the starting 11. He'll always appear in the team. But where's Fosu Mensah? Where's Schweinsteiger? Where's he? Even Schneidlin? Where's he? Those three are people want to see in a Manchester United shirt, especially Fosu and Schweinsteiger, who we've seen for 5-minute cameos and they've been brilliant, and then they can't get on the bench because of Fellaini. And the only reason I can see that, let's discuss this for a quick minute before we move on to something more positive. But why does he have him on the bench? It can only be because of his height. Because, as I said before, if Fellaini was 5'8", he'd be a postman. He wouldn't be a footballer. In fact, he probably wouldn't be a postman because he wouldn't be able to deliver anything, would he? But if he's got him on there for the height, and I tell you what, it's not a myth. He's crap in the air. So tell me, Ross, why is he there? Why is he there?
Well, that's what baffles us, and that's what's been baffling us for. That's what's been baffling us ever since sort of 3.5 years ago when we were linked with him, because I don't think there was a single United fan that wanted Fellaini out of our club, and we've put up with him for 3 years, and I know the United fan has been very vocal with the fact they've wanted him out, and it's been right, but I've been quite quiet about it all and just sort of let it go, but it's becoming a bit of a joke now, and I don't want United to become a laughing stock with stuff like this, but just you hit the nail on the head. He wouldn't get in any of the starting 11 or even in the squad of any of the top 10 teams in this league. So why are we sort of funding a player like that when we have the talent goes beyond Fosu Mensah? It goes into our under 18s. It goes into the Angel Gomez's and the Tahiti Chongs. We've got so much talent, and great footballing talent, but yet we're still sort of funding Fellaini in the first squad. And like I say, and I'll reiterate the point, it was a cracking win today, and so many positives to take out of that. But them comments did put a slight downer on it. It was almost like Mourinho turned a positive into a negative, because he should have just left it. I understand that he might have wanted to go on the defensive a little bit due to the boos. And you know what Mourinho's like, Mr. Stubborn. I feel like the booing made him want to put him on even more. And I just wish that he'd listen to what the fans want,
I agree. I mean, there's a good question in here. But you know what? What just came into my head when you were saying that, and for everybody else, I think Fosu Mensah should be on the bench ahead of Fellaini any day of the week. But Spurs were no threat from, their subs weren't big. Their only big player was Harry Kane, and he was tucked up in Rojo's pocket. So, any cross they put into the box, and they took Eriksen off. They weren't a big team. They weren't chucking their centre-backs forward or anything like that. They were trying to pass their way through us. So we bring Fellaini on, who is slow, easy to pass around. There was no need to bring a height player on. Rooney would have been far better because he's tenacious in the tackle, and Fosu Mensah would have been perfect because he's got loads of energy, he's quick, he would have broke the play up. So it was a really stupid decision, and with 30 seconds to go, I thought surely he can't do anything wrong in 30 seconds because the ball was up the other end of the pitch. But I guarantee 3 or 4 minutes and it would have been squeaky bum time. But there's a good question here from LaRusso. I'm going to get your answer on this as well, Ross. He says, Mark, what would you say to Fellaini if he Skyped in? It's a very good question, and I think I would start off with a word that starts with F and ends with K and has 4 letters, and finish with off, and that would be it. And I would feel a hell of a lot better. But Ross, what would you say to him?
You know what? That's one thing quickly that I'd like to sort of, it's a big respect to the United Stand as a channel, because just because you had Fellaini on the channel, I don't think you'd suck up to him at all. And I know he has been on other fan channels, and the suck up was ridiculous. And I think you'd actually tell him as it is. Personally, I'd probably, I wouldn't be horrible to him, and I'd probably reassure him a bit to say, sorry, Mr. Fellaini, but we're not actually booing you as a player. We understand you have limitations to your talent. That's not your fault. But it's just unfortunate that you're in the wrong team at the minute, and this football club maybe isn't for you. For Everton, he was fantastic, and I don't want to take anything away from him. And I think if he went to a Swansea or to a Sunderland, he'd be absolutely brilliant for them. But it's just unfortunate. He was the wrong player brought by the wrong manager to the wrong club.
I think if he went to Sunderland, well, I just want to say one thing actually. I wouldn't tell him to F off really, because that's that's personal. What I actually do is probably I'd stand up. I'd stand up like this, and I'd go. And I'd probably do it for about 10 minutes, and I'd say, 100 times you've appeared for United. I tell you what, mate. Whatever you do, you should sell. You should write a book, because I tell you what, you're not a United player, but to get 100 caps, that is absolutely brilliant, mate. Absolutely. I don't know how you've done it. You're the new Paul Daniels. Stand up. It's magic, whatever he's done. But you know what? There we go. But what I would just say before we move on for Fellaini very quickly is that I think Ross is right. I think if you went to Sunderland, you'd see a different Fellaini. I think if you went to West Ham, you'd see a different Fellaini. And I'll explain it to you very, very simply why. Ross was right. He was very good at Everton. He used to cause us a lot of problems at Everton. And the reason he did that is because he was played in a position. He was played at number 10. And we've never done it. We've never done it. And I don't know why, but we've never done it. That's his position. He's not a defensive midfielder. He's not even a midfielder. He's a number 10. And what Everton used to do that used to cause us a lot of problems is Leighton Baines has got a very good left foot. They just ping 40-yard balls to the edge of the box, and his control, as I've said before, he's got a better chest than Pamela Anderson. He just holds it off, lay it into, and then that was what he used to do, because he's clumsy and it causes a lot of problems. We've never done it. We've never done it with Fellaini. His best position, we've never even used it. We put him in the midfield, and he's not even a midfielder. So in fairness to him, he wouldn't be good enough anyway. I never want to see United hitting long balls to a number 10. which is why I didn't want to sign him. But it amazes me that we've used him in the way we have. Dragon Gaming 1 says Rojo and Jones have been good recently, but we still need a defender. I think Rojo and Jones have been there. I think Bay and somebody else are up there, and that's what United need. Somebody wants us to talk transfer targets. We do. We will. Nicholas Anderson, I didn't like the boos, but what's the difference between booing a player compared to booing a manager? Yeah, it's 3 years of Fellaini. I wouldn't boo myself, but as Ross said as well, I think it's just booing the fact that we are using this person when we've got better players, and it's time for him to go. It's time for him to go. And somebody said a minute ago, Mourinho's been very stubborn, and it's going to be the end of him at Manchester United if he persists down this road. It's all right trying to it's all right trying to prove the media wrong, but when you're trying to prove fans wrong, you know what? I back Mourinho to the hilt, and this is what I want to say finally on anything. You don't have to agree with everything that he does to back him, which is clearly what I do. You do not have to do it. We will still be here. We were here before he came to the club, and we will still be here in 10 years' time. This is our club. We support it. We know a hell of a lot about it. We certainly have endured Fellaini in a Manchester United shirt longer than he has, and I don't agree with him trying to tell us what to do about a player many of us have seen enough of over 100 times to know his limitations and that he is not United quality. And I think the booing was a frustration at that. And you know what? I understand that frustration. Lamella was missing for Spurs, says Junaid. Well, they were missing a backbone as well, like they always are. We're 7 points off third, so it's not as bad as LVG, says Rude 9 the Master. I mean, I've not asked Ross about that. 7 points off third, 6 points off fourth. I'm discounting Spurs because they're bottlers. You know, as far as I'm concerned, we're in fifth. I said New Year's Day, if we're within 5 points of the top four, game on. Looking at where we are now, it'll be a criminal act if we are not within 5 points of the top four come New Year's Day.
Yeah, I totally agree. And we said before in the preview it was a 6-pointer for us because it was kind of a must-win, and it's positive that we won. And yeah, I totally agree. I think we're going to start pushing. We're not pushing top four like you say. We want to push to, second, third position, and even have a look into that top spot because this season's over by no chance. We've seen Liverpool drop points. We've seen Man City get absolutely smashed by Leicester. So I think there's a lot of positives we can take out of the game. And as they mentioned Rojo and Jones there, and Rojo is actually completely changed my opinion of him. To be honest, I don't think he's good enough to be a United centre back going forward. No chance. But just as a utility player, he's actually shown quite a lot of grit and determination for us, and did have a quality game, and he's really sort of changed my opinion of him because before I just thought he was absolutely useless, but now he's starting to show. I said it in the preview that he would never have Harry Kane in his back pocket, but Harry Kane wasn't even in his pocket. He was about 10 metres away from it, so he wouldn't get near him. So it was a good performance, and I think with the players we have out injured, bearing in mind that back four was very makeshift for United, and we were still missing plenty of chances. If we can just pull all this together, I think that it sounds sort of dramatic, but I think we can still challenge for that, top spot. If Chelsea drop points, at the minute I feel like Chelsea are a bit of a powerhouse, but it only takes a little drop in form. We all thought City were going to win the league about a month ago. Now look at them; they may not even get Champions League. Yeah,
it is a good point. I just feel if we should beat Palace on Wednesday because they've been letting so many goals in. Surely we will do that. West Brom is a difficult game next Saturday, but if we can get over those games with 6 points, Sunderland and Borough at home, if we can't get 6 points from them, there's something really, really amiss. Draughty Devil, just on Phil Jones, says he's proof that Jesus lives. His resurrection is a Christmas miracle. I think for Phil Jones, for me, it's just a matter of the fact that he stayed fit. Ahmed Zidane, back on Fellaini. Fellaini is a United player, and until he leaves, we have to back him. I don't agree with that. I think that's like if somebody... that's like, I was going to say something sexual, but that would be wrong in the current climate. But that's like if you go to work and somebody punches you in the face and you say, well, until somebody sacks him, I'll just have to put up with it. That's nonsense support. That's not what, have some more respect for yourself as a football fan. You support Manchester United or whoever you support. You have a right to have an opinion about the club that you support. And if you don't think somebody's good enough, I don't think Fellaini's good enough. You might think something like, I'm trying to think of somebody that's a bit of a divider. Well, Schweinsteiger was. At the start of the season, I was saying it's a bloody joke that Schweinsteiger's not part of the team. And I was getting a lot of stick. People were saying he's finished, he's old, he wasn't very good last year. Valid points in their mind. But I was like, no, he's got something to offer. Now, I was proved right again. That happens a lot. But that's not my point. What I'm saying is, respect your opinion and have one. Don't be one of these people who just go, oh, he's wearing a United shirt, so I've got to just go with it and be 100% happy with it. Well, Fosu Mensah wears a United shirt. Unfortunately, he doesn't get to wear it because Fellaini's wearing it. So don't deal in absolutes. That's the dark side. Open your mind like a Jedi. But I'm very happy with United, and it's good that we've got that result today. What pleased me, and I think just very quickly on what you said about Harry Kane, I thought Spurs played better than us in an odd way today. I don't know whether you picked up on this, but I think they were second ball. We were awful at getting to it. They were very, very good. Our passing was very off today. But the odd thing about the game was, if you watched it back, there's no doubt we deserved to win it. We created the better chances. They created nothing. And it was almost as if Spurs were a very good team today up until up front. It was like they were playing that silly formation Mourinho did against us a couple of years ago when we had Moyes, where he didn't play a forward, or what Barcelona have done or Spain have done. It was like they didn't have a forward. They created nothing. I mean, I know there was a couple of saves for De Gea, but they didn't create anything. But we were discussing. I mean, just on from that. I mean, pick up on that as well. But I thought Spurs played very well, apart from they didn't create anything, and Harry Kane let them down. But what I liked about United today, and I want you to sort of expand on this, Ross, is that there could be no. I think Mata's got to come in for Mkhitaryan now, and he's very unlucky not to be in the team. But realistically, it was right to drop Mata today because of the way we set up. There was no number 10.
Yeah, I totally agree. And just quickly, I mean, I think Tottenham fans are so deluded. They think that Harry Kane's there, Eric Cantona, and he's nowhere near that. I think he'd struggle to get into United's team. But yeah, I agree. The positive thing today was I don't think there was any United fan that wanted to see Juan Mata dropped, including me and probably including you. I think we all had him in our sort of preliminary teams. But I was pleased, and it worked. It was a good decision by Mourinho. And I'd almost argue, because I personally feel Mata is a central-minded player. He needs to be at number 10. And I don't like him out on the right wing. I think it sort of unbalances United team as such. So I'd like to see us put an actual a winger as such on, as opposed to Juan Mata. I didn't know how long Mkhitaryan's out for. I hope it's not a long time.
Big Boxing Day, apparently.
Which hopefully he can have a quick recovery and come back a little bit before, which won't be the end of the world. But what a difference he made today. I mean, it's like the spark on the right side that we've always been missing. And it's just back to the Juan Mata thing, I'd almost like to see Jesse Lingard out on the right as opposed to Juan Mata, because I'd just like to see Juan Mata used as a part of, like we were saying earlier, it's kind of Herrera or Mata in that midfield. And today Herrera was absolutely fantastic and deserved that starting place and will deserve a start in the next game. But there's going to be a lot of games coming up. It's going to get congested. I think Herrera's played a lot of games as well. So it'd be nice to just see that rotated a little bit naturally, because you can't play the same starting 11 every game. But I think you need to keep the core of that team and just make little tweaks depending on what teams you're playing, and that's how you get results. And yeah, it was a fantastic performance from Mkhitaryan today, and I was absolutely devastated to see him go off.
Yeah, Tyron Williams says Mata needs a quicker striker up line, Martial or Rashford. I think Mkhitaryan is going to be a loss. I'm going to ask Ross how many points he thinks we'll take from the next 12, and people get commenting. We've got Palace obviously away, West Brom away, Sunderland at home, and Borough at home. As much as I think we've got to take 12, I don't think we will, because I just think that's the Premier League for you. But Rashford, Martial today, I think he was full of endeavour, but his shooting's off. He's a good option on the left. I mean, Kyle Walker's a good right back. I don't care what anybody says, and they did double up against him. And I think Mkhitaryan's just on a different level to Martial as a wide man, which is why we'll miss him. But Rashford coming on the left again, just not his position. He just didn't really do anything. All heart but no fire. And I'd like to see Rashford coming on up front. I just think it's not doing anything good for his development at all. But maybe I'm nitpicking a bit. But back to that question, Ross. I mean, 4 games, with regardless of what anybody else does, we're in a good position now. What if I had to push you, what would be your points tally from them 12?
Do you know what? I can't help but be the ever optimist United fan and think that we're going to go on a bit of a winning run now, because I think it's a long time coming, and these draws could have quite easily been wins that we've had over the last few weeks. And I think that there might be some continuity in the team, and we might start getting some results. The one positive that I took out of today that I haven't seen in a long time was Zlatan actually, after sort of 85 minutes, was still chasing sort of the full-backs down, chasing the centre-backs down, which I thought was a great effort by him. But again, I don't want to see Rashford out on the left. But going back to that, I just think that I find it hard to say that we're not going to pick up points, because every game, regardless of who it is, whether it's Arsenal, Tottenham, Chelsea or Man City, I feel like we should be winning the game, because the team that we have is fantastic. And if they play well, because by any stretch, I don't think they were fantastic today. I just think they all kind of, did a job as such. But I think if they all hit form at the right time, we should be beating any team that gets put in front of us.
I agree. I mean, that was the thing I enjoyed the most about the game today. Is I don't think we were head and shoulders the better team, which is what we have been against Arsenal and Everton and the other games that we've dropped. But we won today, and that's what football's about. I'm not expecting United to be head and shoulders every game. And, I looked at that starting 11 of Spurs, and it's a very strong team. It's a very strong team. But we got the result. I thought Darmian was a liability today. I really did. I thought that, it was a very even game in the midfield, and we were sloppy in our passing. We just couldn't string passes together. I thought Carrick was very good, but in another way, he was very bad because his passing was off. But I wouldn't swap that result for a 4-0 win, and that sounds really stupid, but I just think it was so important to grind a 1-0 win out, because that's what Mourinho wants, and the team will take a hell of a lot from that. Shaka Phillips says, do you think Jose needs to be more ruthless with players at United? I think he has been quite ruthless when you look at what he's done to Mkhitaryan and how he's responded to it, and hopefully Shaw and Smalling will respond the same. Russell Frost says he thinks Young is a better option than Darmian. I think Darmian plays because he's tall. Again, madness. What I mean, I was ask you about that, Ross, because I was talking about it the other day, and I know it's back into Fellaini, but Connor Dean says Fellaini needs the fans to support him, which I think is total nonsense. But I don't understand this modern obsession with height. Your height comes from your centre backs, and that's it. Don't worry about it. Class of 99 treble winning side, midfield from the centre back, apart from the centre backs, full backs, midfield, and strikers. None of them over 6 foot. The Barcelona team, hardly any of them over 6 foot, especially in an attacking sense. But we seem to have this obsession with you need height, and then you know what? Let's not talk about that. We've done Fellaini to death. Let's talk about something a little bit positive. It's great that we can talk about this now, and hopefully we will take this positivity over the next few weeks into the new year. And then, as we know, January the 1st is the start of the transfer window. I think it's very important that we go into the January transfer window positive, because it probably saves us a few million if we're not so desperate. I never thought I'd say this even a few days ago, but is there a chance that Manchester United won't actually sign anybody in January, do you think? Or do you think there are signings lined up?
I think there's always a chance that we won't sign someone in January, just because of how hard the market is. And it's interesting. There's been a few sort of inklings that players might be coming available actually. So, and I'd hope that United will pounce on them. But at the same time, you can't really unsettle your main squad anyway. But there's definitely, I think for United this January, it's going to be more about who goes out on loan as to who we sign, because I just think that I'd like to see a bit of the deadwood go, and even just bring some even give players like Fosu Bensah would be like a new signing for us if he was getting in the squad in league games. I think there's other youth out there which is exactly the same. So I'd like to see other loanees that we have come in. I'd like to see Memphis go and Pereira come in, for instance. And I think if we didn't do actually purchasing, there's still movement that can be done in that squad to make it stronger. But I'd like, Julian Draxler's become available, and I hope that Arsenal, I read that Arsenal might be in for him, and I hope that's not the case, because I think it'd be absolutely fantastic at United. As a sort of him, Mkhitaryan and Martial as wingers, it's looking phenomenal. But that's a dream. I don't know if that'll happen or not, but we just keep our fingers crossed. But as I say, I think there's stuff that can be done. I even got a feeling that Borthwick Jackson might be on his way back to United because he's not playing for Hull.
Wolves. He was playing for Wolves and he was doing very well because I'm based in the Midlands and people were really happy with him. So I don't know what's happened there. There's people talking about Ramirez. He used to be at Chelsea. Don't see the point in signing him. Herrera's better. And people talking about Fonte.
Fonte, please.
And others saying that they don't expect the transfer, the results to affect the transfer window. I think we probably will sign somebody, but when I look at it, and Ross is right, there is some deadwood. I think Schneider and Memphis are probably two. Would we be able to get rid of both of them in January? I think they're sort of summer sales, to be honest. And actually, they're not part of the squad anyway, so you could almost get rid of them and replace them with Twansibi and Pereira coming back, which would be fantastic. I mean, I suppose the more interesting thing is where we might bring somebody in, because I think even a month ago we would have said, well, we need a centre back, and we do. I think we do need a centre back, but Bay's going to the African nations, which is a factor for sure, and then you've got Jones and Rojo, who I thought probably would be surplus to requirements. Who, why would he get rid of them when they've done the job for him the last few weeks? Smalling's probably going to be back fit. I suppose it'd be interesting to see if he still wants Smalling. You've got Daley Blind. Somebody even said to me today that Blind could go in January, which I think would be a massive, massive loss. But would we sign a centre back? I don't know. If it's Fonte, I'll be very, very disappointed just because he's old. He's 32 or 33. It's a short-term gap. I'd rather see Twansibi, but that's Mourinho for you. He goes for experience over youth. A right back, something we've mentioned a lot, but Valencia's doing very well. Do you want to just sign somebody to be a backup to Valencia? No, I'd rather buy somebody. Maybe a wide man if Memphis goes. I don't know. I think it's really interesting. I think the great thing about it is that we go into it with real uncertainty, but I do think we will sign somebody. I think Mourinho has made signings in January in the past. It's been well documented, Ross, that he needs. Everybody keeps saying he needs at least 3 transfer windows, so it'd be odd if he wasted one. I couldn't put my name on it. I couldn't put a name out there and say, yeah, we're going to get him. But I'll be amazed, absolutely amazed, if we don't go and sign somebody. Lindelof from Benfica, says Zayn Doley. A left back is not a bad shout from who knows. Sam Ingram says you should invite Andy Goldstein onto the United stand. Anybody is welcome onto the United stand. Manolas is the signing we need in January, says Connor Dean. Yeah, I'm a massive fan of Manolas, but I don't think we'll get him. In fact, that just reminds me quickly, before I do go back to Ross. Tomorrow night at 8:30 is obviously Skype Goldbridge. But tomorrow at about midday, we'll get the Europa League draw. And that's what we're coming on to now. Not going to do a live show for it because I just don't think it justifies a live show at midday tomorrow. But we will be discussing it on Skype Goldbridge tomorrow night. But I did want to just quickly discuss it now. I'm going to have a quick look of who's in the Europa League draw. But from my memory, well, we can't get Spurs anyway. And the reason I wanted to touch on that is I think Spurs will probably go all out for the Europa League. Because I think by the time it kicks in February, they'll probably realise that Europa League is probably their best chance of top 4. Because I don't think they're going to get top 4. I think, it's all right them saying next year we'll do better in the Champions League. I don't think you're going to be in it. And from what I saw of them today, I think they over 2 legs or in a final, it wouldn't be a foregone conclusion. Although I think United have got gears to go up, and I don't think Spurs have, which is good. Roma are certainly in it. Have you looked at the draw, Ross? Is there anybody you'd like to avoid or get? While I quickly have a look who's still in it.
To be honest, I have seen the teams, and there's no one in there that I wouldn't want United to face. And I'm kind of the opinion that if you get one of the harder teams slightly earlier, it's almost a bonus because you know that they're out of the competition by then without gaining momentum. So, and to be honest, it's a competition that any team we face we should be beating. And I agree with you. I honestly think, people say that the Premier League's not that strong compared to the Spanish League, but I honestly think that Tottenham are definitely one of the strongest team in that competition, and they're probably our fiercest rivals in it. So yeah, I think up until when we play them, and again, I'd rather play Tottenham over 2 legs and play them over one game. I just hope that we sort of just get anyone. To be honest, I'd like to even play the bigger games like the Romas and make more of a spectacle of it early on rather than lose interest and play a team like, I know they're not in it anymore, like Zoria, because it just becomes a bit of a burden on our season. To be honest, it's a game that we don't really want rather than a spectacle that we all want to watch.
Yeah, we could play. Well, I'm just going to go through it now. I mean, we can play. This is slow as anything. No, that didn't work. We'll try again. The interesting thing about Spurs is we can't play Spurs in the next round, obviously, because you don't play teams from your home nations. But I just remember Spurs, and let's remember them in the Champions League as well. They are a little bit of a shall we say, bottlers. So not too worried about them. I don't think they'll be in the tournament as long as we are if we fancy it. But Ajax are in there. Tottenham, obviously. Zenit, St. Petersburg. They're off season, aren't they, by then? Schalke. I'm just looking at teams that, on any given day could give us a game. Roma, obviously. Olympiacos shouldn't really. Lyon. Fiorentina. Fenerbahce are obviously in it. Borussia Mönchengladbach, Besiktas, Atletico Bilbao are a good side. I wouldn't be surprised. See, I'd put Atletico Bilbao as probably my favourites because I think Spanish teams are very, very good. And I wouldn't be surprised if they went as far as the semi-finals. And that they're always the concern, the Spanish sides, because. But it depends how serious we take it. I don't think we've ever taken it so seriously before. I'd ask that as well. I think the great thing now is that we're going into this phase between now and the middle of February with real confidence and a good result, and hopefully we can continue that. And everyone's on a level playing field now. You've not got, Chelsea are a long way off. I'm not even talking about Chelsea at the moment. But Liverpool, they've had all week off preparing for games, Well, we're now all for the next until the middle of February. We're all on a level playing field now. So. A lot depends on where we are in February. I mean, I probably asked you this before, but if by the time the Europa League kicks back in again, and let's say we're a point off fourth place, I don't think you can do both. What would you do?
Well, do you know what? I think Jose will prioritise the Europa League, especially if we're in the later parts of the tournament, because at the end of the day, it's a trophy, and it's a trophy that he could win in his first year at United. I think that's all he really wants. But do you know what? That is an absolutely fantastic point about being on the level playing field, because these teams like Chelsea and Liverpool, they haven't had to play twice a week, and that could cause them a bit of a hiccup, because that would be a shock to their system. Whereas the teams like United, playing against Crystal Palace midweek is just going to be like second nature to us, where teams like Liverpool, there's going to be a bit of a body shock for them, and it's going to be interesting to see how they deal with it, as opposed to United, who should be quite comfortable in doing that, and especially in the congested fixtures over Boxing Day, Christmas time, we have such a big squad, we should be able to deal with that a lot better, which I honestly believe that we'll come out in January in that top four and ahead of, if not ahead of Liverpool and Manchester City, because I just feel like we can get on a run. And, it will become a time that we might have to look at prioritising top four of the Europa League, but you kind of have to call it where you're at. If by some miracle we are sort of second, third, and looking to hold that, I think we'd have to make serious decisions as to say, are we better off holding our league position than going for the Europa League, or if you're fifth or sixth, it's all out Europa League.
Yeah, I mean, personally for me, if we were within a point of top four in February when the Europa League kicks in, my personal choice would be play our second team in the Europa League and go all out for top four, because I just think it's a massive risk to go for the Europa League. You can go all the way to the final and blow it, whereas if you can secure a place in the top four and being a point off it with the team we've got, we will have clicked by then as well. I'd go all out for that, but each their own. I think it's a divider. Just looking at, Ross made a very good point there. I've been mentioning Crystal Palace, West Brom next Saturday, Boxing Day against Sunderland, and New Year's Eve, I think it is, against Middlesbrough. But there is actually another game 2 days after that. So it'd be remiss of me not to mention that. So I'm going to quickly go through these now so you can get an idea. We're ignoring Spurs because they're bottlers of the North. They're not going to be going for the top 4 even though they're 3 points ahead of us. So we're 24 points, 6 points ahead is City, 7 points ahead are Liverpool, and then 10 points Arsenal. I still think we could do that. I think I tweeted it today to the Liverpool account. We'll finish above Liverpool. Watch this space. But anyway, Wednesday, let's focus on us, Liverpool and City. And I'm going to read these out, Ross, and you can give your thoughts. So the gap is 6 and 7 against Liverpool and City. I think we'll beat Palace. Liverpool have got Middlesbrough away. What do you think they'll do there?
That's a potential banana skin, that, and Liverpool away are not the best. So I think they might draw.
So they draw, we win, we close it down to 6 points, the same as City. City are home to Watford. I think they'll win that. Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
So as long as we beat Palace after Wednesday, we're 6 points behind City and Liverpool. Then we go to the weekend. We're away to West Brom. Assume we win that. That's what we're going to do with United. And then City have got Arsenal. Who do you think wins that?
Arsenal, hands down.
Yeah. So we're within 3 points of City. Everton have got Liverpool.
Draw.
3 points of City, 4 points of Liverpool. Boxing Day, we're home to Sunderland. We'll win that. No way we're not going to win that. City away to Hull.
I have to give that to City, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I'd agree. So still 3 points behind City. And Liverpool have got Stoke at home.
Banana skin for Liverpool, that.
Yeah, Stoke are playing quite well. So potentially, I think they'd win that. I'll give them that because it's Christmas. So they're still 4 points ahead of us. We go to New Year's Eve and then we're home to Middlesbrough, which we will win. And it's Liverpool City.
Exactly. Well, whatever result, that'll be a benefit to us. You know, we'll be looking for a draw, but is it Liverpool at home to City?
Yeah.
You know what, I think Liverpool will probably win that, to be honest. I just don't think City have got enough tactically to beat a team like Liverpool, especially. I think Guardiola coming against that high press of Liverpool will come unstuck.
If that was the case, we would be 3 points behind Liverpool and level with City on New Year's Eve. And then 2 days later, City home to Burnley. I think they probably win that, unless Ross is going to jump in and say, nah, Burnley are going to win that.
Nah.
Liverpool away to Sunderland, they probably would win that. But we've got a real tough game then because we've got West Ham away on the 2nd of January. So it could be that we get right smack back in it, and then that's a massive game on the 2nd of January, 5:15 kickoff against West Ham. But it just shows you we could be certainly within that magic 5 points of them. And then it's the FA Cup, and then after that on Saturday the 14th of January, Sunday the 15th of January, United play Liverpool. So, you know, we're talking about the end of the season. If it went the right way, we could be we could be past Liverpool by the middle of January. It's quite interesting. And then the week after that, Liverpool have got Chelsea, and we've got Hull at home. Should win that. And then the weekend after that, we're away to Leicester. Quite difficult. So you know, it's all to play for. That's what I'm saying. It's all to play for. And I think I'm assuming United are going to keep winning. But it's all to play. And we've got, I think, you know, we've been saying it for a long time. Palace on Wednesday, we've got to win that game. And then the big one for me is West Brom next Saturday. And then Sunderland and Borough at home. We should win both of them. Surely, Ross. Surely we'll win them.
Well, West Brom is going to be a massively tough game because we know how Tony Pulis lines up against teams. And, you know, they even give Chelsea a bit of a shock today. And it only scraped a 1-0, really. I know they're probably all over him, but that's the way Pulis sets his teams up, and that's the way he's always done it, and we just have to live with that. And United tend to come unstuck against teams that defend so deep. So it'll be an interesting game, and that's the sort of game where players like Zlatan Ibrahimovic, with their height, will need to make an impact, and we'll need good crosses of the ball because that will probably be our main source of creativity for that game. And it'll be an interesting game. Teams like Palace, we should be rolling over absolutely no problem. But West Brom, or any Tony Pulis side, have always worried me.
Yeah, it's tell you what, whatever happens, it's going to be an exciting week. We're obviously going to be live for the watch along on Wednesday night. We will be next Saturday, and I hope we can just keep this running because it's excitement. It keeps us going. I think if we'd drawn today, we're right up shit creek without a paddle, but we've not. We've won the game. We forced the result, and that's the big thing, and that's the positive thing. And I'm really, really excited about hopefully closing that gap, because United will click. A lot of you are saying that we will click. I don't know whether we're going to click just yet, whether there's going to be a few more bumps in the road, but we definitely will click. Please like the video. You've been fantastic tonight. I've really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it. And when's that? Very good, Joel Merry. Mark, when's the United Stand Christmas party? Well, the Christmas special will be a week tonight. I'm going to change the layout. Drawty will sort it and get at least 2, hopefully 3 guests on. Hopefully Ross will be one of those, and I don't know, maybe get Alex back, but he's struggling from sticky keyboard at the moment, and maybe get Joey or Paul on as well. It'd be good to have Paul and Ross on, because that will defy the myth. But no, next Sunday will be very good. Hopefully 6 more points will be in a very... You know what? If we can get past Palace and West Brom with 6 points, it's game on, because I can't see us dropping points at home to Sunderland and Borough in any scenario. So very happy, very positive, and obviously a transfer window opening up as well. Good, exciting few weeks, and Christmas if you're a Christian. But tomorrow night at 8:30, live Skype Goldbridge. Loads of you have watched tonight. Please join us tomorrow night at 8:30 for that. Tuesday night 8:30, previewing the Palace game live. Wednesday night, I think it's an 8 o'clock kickoff, so live at 7 o'clock with the team news. Ross will probably join me if he's about, and then fast on to West Brom as well. Probably won't be live at 8:30 on Thursday because it's my work Christmas do. I probably will be live at some point, knowing what I'm like. Now I know how to live stream off my phone, but that might be interesting. But very positive for us, and it's nice to be in that position, because I don't think we're smug about it. I think most United fans will, whether we're on a winning streak or not, we always like to delve into things, and massively positive tonight, but we spent 15 minutes talking about the Fellaini thing, which I think needed speaking about. Fans aren't sheep. They're not sheep, and you can't just jump on a positive result and try and pull the wool over our eyes. Sheep, wool, and I think that's what it was all about, wasn't it? It was trying to turn us on to be liking Fellaini again because we'd had a good result, and fans aren't that stupid.
The most positive thing for me tonight has been the fact that I don't think I've seen an influx of Liverpool fans on the live comments, because they've obviously gone back into their caves for the weekend, and same with Man City fans, to be honest. And we don't need to be smug about that. It's the fact that they've done it themselves. They've gone into hiding. We can just be quiet, to be honest. And like you said it again, it is. We won't be fooled by this. And Mourinho might think that he's doing a trick by, dedicating the result to Fellaini, and think that United fans are just going to jump on that and go, "Oh, we love Fellaini again." It's not going to happen, and he will realise it. He cannot be that out of tune with the fans, and if he isn't, his advisors need to be telling him, this is what the fans think. You need to pay attention, and I think that he has that support around him if he doesn't realise it himself, because that's probably one of the main reasons that he brought Bastion back, because you saw the support, and we all saw what that meant to the fans. So he's not that out of tune. I think he will try and, turn us, but I don't think United fans will be fooled, and I think, it'll be short-lived, and we won't be seeing too many appearances from Fellaini in the future.
I hope so. I just fear the worst. Schweinsteiger's a good point. I did want to bring him up on the show, but maybe somebody can remind me to mention that tomorrow night or even next Sunday, because what I want to talk about next Sunday is more general United stuff, not necessarily instant stuff, because it is the Christmas special, and I'm sure some of us will have a drink, which will make it very interesting. But Daniel Langstein said he's a Liverpool fan. Mind the gap. You're more than welcome if you're a rival fan, but I will finish with this. We will finish above. Liverpool aren't going to win the league, and that's all that bothers me. But we will finish above Liverpool this season. You've heard it here first. We will. So mind the gap all you like. It's where you finish in May. I keep telling Liverpool fans, it's not where you are in November. It's where you are in May, and we will finish above them, and we'll have a better season than them. And I'll stand by that 100%. But you've been superb. Ross has been superb as well. What's your Twitter, Ross? Give him a follow on there if you're on Twitter.
Yeah, it's at Hazza90.
At Hazza90. Join us tomorrow at 8:30. Let's all. I'll be on Twitter with the reaction to the Europa League tomorrow as well. But lots going on. We'll be live at 8:30 every night this week, and have a good week. And it's nice, let's finish on a real positive. If I had the highlights, I'd show it you. I'm going to watch it on Match of the Day in a minute. Mkhitaryan running through. Put your hand up if you had no doubt he was going to finish. And it's not that long. It isn't that long. It's a long time since we've had a United player like that. He is class, absolute class. 2 one-on-ones and he's put them both away. And it's a shame he's injured and I hope he gets back soon. But thanks for watching. It is the United Stand. It is your channel. Keep getting involved. And the bigger we get, the bigger your voice gets. But fantastic show tonight. And as always, we won't shirk the big topics because that's what we should be talking about. Thanks for watching.